Hey there, welcome to We Recap. Today, we're diving into the gritty, suspense-filled world of The Killer, a brand new action thriller crime film that follows a meticulous assassin on a path of vengeance. Chapter 1, Paris. The movie opens in Paris. We find an assassin sitting quietly, gazing out the window of a sparse room. His timer goes off, and he nearly nods off. Later, he wakes up, still staring at the same view. This time, he's gloved up and alert. He doesn't have a name, but we come to know him simply as the killer. He reclines in his chair, pops in his earphones, and watches the city below, just ordinary people going about their lives. To pass the time, he fits in some yoga, push-ups, and a perfect sitting posture that could make a chiropractor proud. Eventually, he heads out, descending several flights of stairs. Disguised with shades and a cap, he scans a rental bike using his phone. On his way, he grabs a few essentials from a nearby cafe and hops on a phone call. On the other end, a contact assures him the target will show. The killer replies, he's been waiting 5 days, and he'll only wait 2 more. Back at the apartment, as day turns to night, he sets up his sniper rifle and waits in silence. Suddenly, the door creaks open behind him. He swings the rifle around, ready to fire, but it's just a delivery guy dropping off mail. A close call. The next morning, he's still stationed at the window. He reflects on how boredom might be the hardest part of his job. Most of it is just waiting, until it's not. Poisoning, staging accidents. That's when things get creative. He sterilizes the sink, lies on his makeshift bed, and sets periodic alarms for brief naps, always waking to check if the target has arrived. Eventually, he sees movement across the way, curtains drawn, a car pulls up, and a maid begins prepping the space for a high-profile guest. The killer reassembles his rifle and elevates the bed to get a clean shot from the window. More people arrive. He puts on his hoodie, slides in his earbuds, and mutters a cold line, "I don't give up." As the target enters the room, the killer tracks him through the scope. His heart rate spikes, so he recites a calming mantra to slow it down. Then, he takes the shot. And misses. The bodyguard slams the blinds shut. The killer curses under his breath and starts breaking down his gear. He bolts, helmet on, speeding through the streets on a scooter. Sirens wail in the distance. On the way, he ditches the rifle in a passing garbage truck and keeps moving. But the cops are everywhere. He pulls a classic Jason Bourne maneuver, ditching the scooter and darting down alleyways and stairwells. After climbing a brutal flight of stairs, he tosses the helmet and heads to the grimiest public bathroom around, yes, gas station level. There, he changes his appearance. After the quick disguise, he hails a cab to the airport. But just as he's about to board, he spots a Belgian Malinois sniffing around. Nope, he pivots and walks away. He freshens up, grabs a new ticket, and makes a call from a nearby phone booth, reporting what happened. On the flight, he notices a sketchy-looking passenger and stays alert. Later, when the plane lands, an announcement offers passengers a hotel voucher to wait for a delayed flight. He seizes the opportunity. In his hotel room, he places a glass on the door handle as a makeshift alarm and rests on the couch. Come morning, he leaves quietly and catches the next flight out, earbuds in, calm as ever. At his destination, he rents a car and drives through scenic roads until reaching a gated property. He spots fresh boot prints in the dirt, pulls a pistol, and climbs over. Tracking the prints to a mansion, he bursts inside, only to find blood smeared across the walls. He quickly makes a phone call, something's gone horribly wrong, and rushes to a hospital struggling through a power outage. A woman lies unconscious in a hospital bed as Marcus informs the killer that she's in critical condition. He explains that his sister, Magdala, described the 2 assailants, one male, one female, and mentioned she managed to stab the man before locking herself in a bathroom. Marcus believes they came looking for the killer but found his wife instead. The killer sits beside her until Magdala regains consciousness. She assures him that she never gave up his name, not even under extreme pressure. With that reassurance, he leaves the hospital and begins his next move. He uncovers a hidden underground safe, and the following day, starts packing. While driving through town, he spots a vehicle matching the one seen leaving his home. As night falls, he requests an emergency ride. When the driver arrives, things take a turn. He accesses their records and identifies the driver he's after. He sends a package to Dolores and begins surveillance. Eventually, he finds the driver, follows him, and casually asks for a ride. During the trip, the killer taps his pistol against the window. The driver, terrified, hands over his wallet. But the killer isn't after money, he wants answers. The driver, clearly shaken, calls the passengers he transported freaks and insists he was forced to drive them to a secluded mansion. Despite the plea, the killer shows no mercy and executes him. Using a new fake passport, he leaves the country and heads to New Orleans. He makes a pit stop at a storage facility to stash his van and gather weapons, documents, license plates, and, oddly, a banana. He spots a woman he identifies as Dolores and sets his plan in motion, posing as a garbage man to gain entry into her building. Once inside, he times the door mechanism, drinks from a nearby water fountain, and slips in behind someone to hold the door. When Dolores sees him, she's paralyzed with fear. The killer corners her and then points his weapon at Hodges. Hodges recognizes him, and his reputation, and urges Dolores to comply. After locking her in the bathroom, Hodges admits he was ordered to retaliate after the killer missed a high-profile target. Hodges, revealed as one of the killer's former handlers, offers him one option: disappear. He boasts about how he built the operation from scratch, but the killer wants information, specifically about backup plans. Hodges claims there are none and believes he's safe. He's wrong. The killer shoots him in the chest with a nail gun and tells him he has 6 minutes to live. Hodges dies instantly. The killer prepares to kill Dolores but stops when she claims to know the names he's after, on the condition that he leaves things tidy. Although his inner voice calls empathy a weakness, he ignores it and cuts her free. Unfortunately, she sees Hodges' corpse and faints. After dumping Hodges' body in the trash, the scene shifts to later that night. Dolores is in the van with the killer. She screams and tries to flee, but it's futile. Eventually, she helps him comb through files to identify those behind the home invasion. They find only one name: Claiborne, the client. Once she's no longer useful, he kills her without hesitation, muttering about always having to clean up messes. He's cold, calculated, a textbook psychopath. He then crashes at a motel, scrubs down the van, grabs some food, and prepares to head to Florida. Upon arrival, he scopes out the address linked to Claiborne. He watches as night falls and follows one of the men to his house. Outside, a massive dog barks wildly, but the killer tosses it food to distract it. He returns later when the dog is asleep and sneaks into the house. Inside, the man is showering. The killer creeps toward the bathroom but is ambushed. A brutal fight ensues, destroying everything in sight. After a relentless brawl, the killer manages to fatally wound the man and escape, chased by the dog. He throws a Molotov cocktail to torch the house and erase all evidence. The next morning, he heads to the airport again, destination, New York City. Once there, he takes public transport, rents a car, and heads to the subcontractor's house. After a day of surveillance, he spots a woman matching the driver's earlier description. He follows her at a distance. As she goes to turn, he prepares to strike, but the sound of sirens makes him hesitate. He continues tailing her until she parks at a waterfront restaurant. There, she sits down for a lavish meal, unaware she's being watched. The killer approaches, sits at her table, and casually points a gun at her. Though she's supposed to be a killer herself, she crumbles under pressure. She introduces herself as the expert and asks if Hodges suffered. She tries to appeal to him with kindness, even offering food. She insists the brute was responsible for his wife's assault, not her. But the killer already dealt with him. She rambles about morality and the contradictions in their line of work, noting that he could have killed her in any number of ways, yet chose to talk. That doesn't save her. He takes her outside as she rambles, feigns injury, and tries reverse psychology, but he silences her with a bullet to the head. His job isn't finished. Now, he targets the final name on his list. He surveils the man's luxurious residence and waits for his moment. When a door won't open, he casually looks up a fob copier on Amazon. He sees his target in the car and gears up. After acquiring new weapons and gadgets, he sneaks into the target's gym using a stolen janitor keycard. He finds the man's locker, grabs his wallet, clones the keycard, and places everything back. That night, using the cloned card, he enters the building and rides the elevator to the 27th floor. He walks into Claiborne's home. Claiborne, clueless, offers him money. The killer shows him the stolen card, and realization dawns. Claiborne admits Hodges ordered a cleanup after the missed hit. He insists he has no quarrel with the killer. The killer warns him, if he ever has to return, it'll be slow and excruciating. Then he simply walks out. In the final scene, the killer is in the Dominican Republic, sipping tea with his now recovered wife. And that's a wrap. If there's a movie or show you'd like to see recap next, drop it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.